But my trade is right here, right now. It hit the target. It did not get out because I'm expecting this thing to move higher after, especially after breaking through here, looking for it to go up. It got that big rejection right there, and I did not take my trade off that table, which you know, I need to have these winners to pay for that loser yesterday, and maybe setting myself back even further as I showed you in that graph. All right, here we are, June 28th, day one of the new 50K XFA and the live account. So I must say that red day yesterday, it really bummed me out. So like, yeah, I hate having red days, especially when they're huge red days like that. You know, that exercise I showed you with the squares again yesterday, it just, you know, it's a huge setback when I have that. But I need to have those red days because every time I have big red days like that, they help improve my trading dramatically. Like all my biggest growth in trading has happened on big red days. So as much as I hate them, they've been a necessary part of my progression in trading. Every time I have a big red day, it makes me, you know, reflect on my day. It makes me do a full review of my strategy, a full review of my trade plan. You know, did I do something wrong that day? Is my trade plan messed up? Is my strategy starting to slip? Or was it just my day to have a red day? You know? And then I look at it and say, is there anything I could do to improve? And then as part of my trade plan review, I'll look at my long-term goals and what I'm doing short-term and all those things too. And kind of just have a whole deep dive into what's going on. And that's kind of what I use for therapy on big red days. You know, you're sitting there, you're stewing, you're mad, you want to just all in, you know, I'm just going to go big or go home kind of thing. And all these defeating thoughts that we sometimes have as traders. I defeat all those thoughts by one, I leave my house, leave my computer, leave the office, wherever I'm at, and I go for a walk. Just go get some fresh air, go outside, just do something different. And then after that, I'll come back and I'll do a full review of everything trading. And that usually starts with my trade plan. So with my strategy though, I do that review just to kind of reflect on it and see where it's at and what's going on and remind myself. Most of the time that reminds myself that today's just a red day. It's all good. Sometimes I do see some trending. But one thing I caution myself, and you know, maybe you should think about it as well, is just because you have a big red day doesn't mean you need to change your strategy. And I think the danger a lot of traders fall into is when things aren't going well, they start changing their strategy just because they don't think things are going well. When in reality, the strategy might be great and it still might be trending really well. It just might have been a rough couple days because the market conditions didn't fit that strategy perfectly. So I watch my strategies trending, and if they start falling down into the below 70% range, not based on my performance, but based on the performance of the strategy, then I need to change it. If they're falling below the 70% range based on my performance, then I need to look at my trade plan because it's not the strategy's problem. So with that said, I'm going to make a slight adjustment to my trade plan that is more in line with my future goals. So that's what I want to cover in the beginning of this video is how I'm going to change my trading, and I think how that change is going to dramatically improve my profitability and my overall success. My daily stats may go down, but my overall trade stats will go up and my account will have a better growth curve than what I'm doing now. So that's what I want to cover before I get into today's trades. And then we'll look at what trade setups happened today and we'll see what happens today. Hopefully today will be a good day. Traditionally, whenever I start a new thing, like a new XFA or a new level of the funding, I usually have a big fat red day. It just seems to be like what always happens to me. So hopefully that's not today. Before I get into that, I do just want to say that whenever we have big red days, it's hard to make those videos, you know, especially if it's a 4-hour video that gets cut down to 15 minutes or less. You have to sit there and process that and watch it over and over again and then get it up on the channel and all this stuff. And it's depressing and you don't want to do it. Like when you're making those, getting ready to put those videos up, it's tempting just hit delete and not even do it because you're depressed about it and you just don't want to deal with it. You want to like run away from that bad feeling, you know? So for those of you who are watching my channel who are not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. When you're watching those ads that are on the channel, I don't get any compensation for those until I have at least 1,000 subscribers. So it would be awesome if you're not subscribed, if you could just click that subscribe button right there. And you can always undo it. It's not a permanent thing. So you can always undo that. Okay, so what am I going to do going forward here? So a lot of people like to say you need to have a risk 1 to make 2 or a risk 1 to make 3. I never really hear anybody saying that when you look at your daily P&L, you should be risking 1 to make 2, right? Risking 1 day's profits to make 2 days worth of profits. Have you looked at your accounts like that? Have you looked at your trade plan or your strategy and said, how much am I actually risking in a day and how much am I making in a day? And then looked at it from that perspective of risking 1 day's profits to make 2 days profits. Is there a way to trade to where you never have a losing day lose more than your winning day, and that your winning days always make a little bit more, if not a lot more, than your losing day? Is there a way to do that? If you could do that, then a red day wouldn't feel as bad because you're only giving back a piece of the profits you made the day before. So that could be a big mental fitness victory. And then you know that tomorrow's trading day, most likely you're going to make more than you lost today. But when you're taking a loss and giving back a week's worth of profit, that's pretty depressing. You know, yesterday's loss was like a week's worth of profit. And that's a pretty big hit to the mental fitness. And then when you go back into trading, it's hard not to be scared or want to make all your money back in a single trade and all these things, which could be defeating. But what if you had a strategy or a plan, not a strategy, but a plan that not only allowed you to make more than you're losing on every day, but if you have a red day, you know that you can make your entire red day back the following day based on the day. That's a lot easier, right? As part of your plan with the probabilities in your favor. So it's not like you're just swinging for a home run to recover your account. It's just a part of your normal trading plan. It allows you to cover your account in one trading day. That would be pretty awesome too from a mental fitness perspective. So what's my long-term plan? My long-term plan is to trade 3 tickers, maybe 4 tickers. We'll see if that becomes too much to juggle. But right now, it's 3 tickers is the long-term plan. I want to trade the YM, the NQ. The YM is the Dow Jones, the NQ and the NASDAQ, and the GC, which is gold. If I add a 4th one, it's going to be oil with CL. So when I'm looking at trading more tickers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allocate each ticker to its own account. So right now you see my YM, I'm trading in my live account. And then the NQ right now I'm trading in the XFA. And then I'm going to start another combine with gold. And eventually that will get moved to an XFA. And eventually those XFAs will get rolled into my live account. And once those are in my live account, I will take my trade log that I'm using and I will divide up my live account so that, you know, I have 20,000 that's allocated to the YM, 20,000 to NQ, 20,000 allocated to the GC, and I will focus on my trade log and not so much on the Topstep dashboard that you see on the screen. This way, if I have a blowout kind of week where all of them are just losers that week, looking at them in their individual accounts mentally, not a big deal. Overall portfolio drawdown will look not so great, and that's what you'll see on the Topstep dashboard. The portfolio will look like a disaster. But from an account perspective, everything will look normal and not a big deal whatsoever, because green days are coming. That'll erase that easy from a mental perspective for me to get over it. All right, so how do I structure my day so that I'm always making more than I'm losing? And that's really simple. That's the simplest part of all of it. Going forward, I'm only going to take 1 trade per day in each account. Each account only has 1 ticker allocated to it to trade. I have the ability to make more than a 1. I risk 1 to make 1. That's my starting base, right? So, but that's my minimum so that I can lock in that win to pay for the loser that's coming. But I don't just exit on a market order. I try to trail my stops so I could squeeze more out of that trade. So most of my trades actually make more than a 1 risk to 1 reward. I'm usually risking 1 to make 1.4. Between 1 and 1.4 is typically what it averages out to for me. So now when I look at my account over a year, those little extra pieces at 1.4 that I'm making, the 1.2, all that stuff adds up and potentially can erase all my losers. So if my risk reward was $1,000 per day, at the end of the year, my average per day should work out to around $1,000 because all those other losing trades will be eventually be erased by the little additional amounts I'm making on my winning trades. So that could be pretty sweet. That'll be an awesome setup like that. And then the way I grow my account so I can make more money is I simply scale up each ticker in each account. And they have their own scaling ladders. So one ticker doesn't affect the other ticker's funds that are allocated to it. Everything is completely separate. They have their own scaling ladders, own everything, as if they had completely different accounts. Even though once they get to the XFA, they'll still be in the same bucket of money. But that money, like I said, will be broken up on my trade log to keep it separate. And I'll just scale them up. And then eventually I'll get them scaled up to where, I can do $3,000 risk reward per day per ticker and potentially make $9,000 a day or more. So going forward, that's it. So what you're going to see is one trade per day and each separate account that's been allocated for that ticker. On days that the market conditions are not as favorable for me, then I might just trade in the micros with the separate funds that are allocated to that micro account. So essentially I'll be like having 3 accounts divided up on my trade logs so that I can take trades every day. And if those are losses, if that account only gives me like a 70% win rate and it's not great, I'm making lunch money in that account. That's the way I'm going to look at that separate micro account is lunch money. May not look good on my Topstep stats on my dashboard here, but I need to not worry about that. All the Topstep stats on their dashboard I think matters when you're trying to become a live funded trader, because they're using that as part of their evaluation of you. But once you're in the live account, I think the only thing that really matters after that is that you're profitable. And if your stats look bad, but your account is growing like crazy and you're making money and taking payouts and they're making money, then I don't think it matters at that point. So I'm not going to worry about that anymore. So hopefully I'll start a new combine soon with gold GC. But first I'm going to get my NQ XFA growing to a good spot. I need to recover my live account, just focus on those 2 right now. And then once they're both doing good, and this is on cruise control, then I'll go ahead and add that combine for gold and get that in the pipeline. And I like doing it this way because, I get my live account, which is my main thing, and then I'm able to get my XFA, like add one more layer to it. The NQ combine, now XFA, it's proven itself. All right, if I can do what I'm trying to do in the combine, get into the XFA, get profitable there, take a payout, I'm proving that to be a viable thing. And then I can feel good about it. And now I can add another layer, which would be gold. Rather than jumping in with 3 tickers, trying to manage it all at one time, get 3 combines at the same time or 4 combines or whatever. There's a lot of chaos there. And I'd rather just focus on one piece, get it to a good spot, focus on the next piece, get it to a good spot, and then keep adding the layers like that. And then once I have all those up and running, and once I have gold going, the NASDAQ going, the Dow Jones going, and possibly oil going, I would think I would have at least 1 trade a day, which would be great for the channel because then I'm putting up content every single day. So with that said, now you're up to speed. So let's get into today's trades, and hopefully I can break my tradition of starting off on big red days with new accounts. All right, good morning. It is June 28th. First trade up in the XFA, the new 50K XFA. The NASDAQ on deck. We had that opening candle here. We had candles close below it. And now we're looking for a break above it. And then I'll be jumping in this trade. Sell stop market. Let's see. Can't take off my ATM. Sell stop market.
Order submitted.
Marking it up real quick. My entry's there. Stop is there. The Dow Jones just ripped higher like in the hundreds of points. Insane in like one 5-minute candle. Craziness what's happening over there. Let's see. What is the ES doing? Let's see. ES is rallying higher as well. So let's see if the NASDAQ is just lagging. And this could be a really nice trade. It's a pretty big trade here. 239. About 40 points, which is huge. This is a big trade out of the gate.
Order submitted.
Okay, in the trade. All right, so I'm going to put my stop in. I moved it up to break even plus a few dollars, so it won't be a red trade. Most of my strategy with NQ, it's trades that either go or they don't. So there's no point in me waiting with my stop way down here. It has to start there because it could automatically go down first on a retrace before ripping higher. But once a trade is moving, they either go or they don't. So I can move my stop to break even plus a few dollars. And occasionally I'm going to get stopped out and then they'll go. And that's fine. I'll take those occasional stop outs because the rest of the time it'll come down and just keep on going down. So it's more lucrative for me to just get stopped out, break even, plus a few dollars. All good. Okay, stopped out of that trade for $15. I do not want to have an open
Order
order.
canceled.
Could be coming back down here to retest this resistance support area before moving higher. S&P 500 still ripping higher. Dow Jones is starting to move higher. I might jump back in this trade actually. Let's see here. This is where I got in last time, right? So I may get it back in here at a discount.
Order submitted.
Still an active trade. And these red candles are presenting an opportunity. So this wants to go red and then go back green again. I'll jump in. I could put my order to get in here, but I'm going to trail some red candles and see when it turns around. Only because the rest of the markets are so strong right now.
Order submitted.
Okay, back in that trade. Not going to speed bump it. Take
Order
that off.
canceled.
Target.
Stop filled.
Okay, so take it off right there. Really close to that target. Wish I would have got more, of course, for $685 in profit. So really nice trade. If I want to get back in, I would just put my order to get back in next time it wants to break through there and then continue higher and just, I leave a few dollars off the table. But I got my target. I'm good with that. There's a good possibility. Miley, please. Please, Daddy's trying to make a video.
Okay, but I need to.
There's a good possibility we're going to see a little bit higher retrace to get into this mess over here before it makes a decision to break out higher or to go sideways or lower or whatever. So could see this candle close. Another move a little bit higher here. But I'm done with my trade. I'll take my first trade of the day in the XFA for $685 in profit after commission $676. So that basically gives me a 3-trade buffer, which is fantastic. And when I have really high probability trades, I'll risk a little bit more. Like this one was pretty awesome. So that's why I did what I did. All right, everybody. See you on the next trade. Okay, here I am in the live account now, waiting for Ninja Trader to catch up. Going to jump into the YM to the long side. One contract. One.
Order submitted.
All right, let me get this chart marked up over here so you can see it. This is not there. Yeah, it's weird. There's no gap here. For whatever reason, Ninja is showing as a gap there. All right, I don't know. It is what it is. All right, let's get this thing marked up. So we can go back in time and kind of see what we're dealing with here. So looking for a move into this zone here for sure. First target right there, this green line. But looking for a move into this this zone. If it breaks out of this zone, I think the next stop is testing new highs. But right now, looking for a target right there. Okay, here we go. Getting ready to get through this target. Let's go YM. I will move my stop to that target once we get through cleanly because that's the move. I got to capture that move. All right, I need my winners to pay for my losers. So now if this comes back down and hits my stop, this will be one of those winners. As I showed you in the chart yesterday, that graph, that little square exercise, just adding to the disaster of my account. Because then I'm giving up another one of those winners that I needed to pay for that big loser yesterday. Looks like that might be what's happening right now.
I'm gonna sell.
So let's zoom out. I mean, it's got plenty of room to get back in there. I don't know why it's turning around right there. Okay, looks like it might get stopped out here. Hit that target, and I didn't get it. So I was waiting for it to break through, move my stop up, give it a chance to run like the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 is running right now. Like they're going straight up. It's insanity what's happening over there. I thought the Dow might continue pursuing what it was already doing and follow them. The Dow went up, stalled out. They've passed the Dow now basically on their rocket ship, and I was looking for this to catch back up. It came back down, retraced half this candle almost on its way back up. Fully expected to move to cruise on its way. This could be coming back down to make a W as well and then break out later. But my trade is right here right now. It hit the target. I did not get out because I'm expecting this thing to move higher, especially after breaking through here, looking for it to go up. It got that big rejection right there. And I did not take my trade off that table, which I need to have these winners to pay for that loser yesterday. And maybe setting myself back even further as I showed you in that graph. I guess at least it won't be a big red trade. Maybe red on commission.
Stop filled.
Okay, so stopped out of that trade. I'll take $5 after commissions. It's a pretty big downer. Nice morning in the XFA, but pretty depressing to get stopped out here when it did hit its target. That was almost $400. You know, I needed that winner to pay for that loser. As you saw, we had 4 boxes left. I said as long as I don't screw them up, then I'll be good to go. And clearly just failed on that trade right there. I didn't expect it to tick that target and reject immediately. Thought I would at least get a little squeeze through and be able to move my stop up. All right, everybody, so that's going to do it for today. Just taking those 1 trades a day. Think that's going to do it for today, and I'll see you on next trade Monday.